Welcome to Keep Trucking Personal. I'm Tyler Kivi, a third-generation trucker, and my purpose is simple: to make sure the definition of trucking doesn't get lost in the culture this industry is drifting toward. This podcast is about real stories, the hard lessons, and the standards that built this business long before apps and algorithms. If you believe trucking is more than freight and its responsibility, you're in the right place. Let's get into it.
Hey guys, welcome back to Keep Trucking Personal. My name is Tyler Kivi and I'm your host. Today, I want to talk a little bit about something that happened recently, and it really got me thinking again about rehire drivers. Because we had a driver recently come back to Kivi Bros, and now this isn't a story about someone who never left, right? It's a story about someone who went somewhere else, experienced another operation, and then made the decision to return, and that's important. It's important that we know that's the context, right? And when we asked him why he was excited to come back, his answer was simple. He said, "I look forward to being pre-planned again and not sitting." And that stuck with me because there's a lot of effort that we put into this process, and as any company probably does, pre-planning is important, but it takes a special customer base to be able to pre-plan and pre-plan well. And in trucking, it's easy to think the next opportunity is better. And I often think drivers find themselves in that rut because it's flashy. It's the shiny new object syndrome. And social media is crazy. It's always throwing things at you. It's always throwing what should be for you or what you think is the best option. And even though you don't think that, it's just what the algorithm's telling you, right? It's showing a different truck, a new truck, a different company, a different location, a different pay package. And sometimes making the move is the right decision. We know that. But sometimes we don't realize what we have until it's gone, right? And what this driver found out was that sitting and having to wait for his reloads had become the normal at where he was at. And it wasn't sitting for an hour, it wasn't sitting for just a day because of bad weather. Sitting had become part of their operation. And when drivers sit, they're not doing anything that they signed up to do, right? You're not moving, you're not earning, you're not progressing, you're just there waiting. And what's interesting is when I talk to drivers most, they understand that perfection is unattainable, right? And I'll be the first one to say we are not perfect. And I often do say that just to make sure that the storyline is aligned with reality, right? We work our butts off to make sure that things go well. But the best in these circumstances, they understand trucking, right? And this driver did a fantastic job. He asked me a lot of questions about operations and planning and how we do it and pre-planned hours. And he understands that it's not perfect and breakdowns. And he even willingly admitted a couple times he had overslept and missed appointments. And that's humbleness, right? That's where we build a good understanding of each other. And he understands how customer schedules change. And there were so many parts to the breakdowns. He just wanted something simple, and he wanted to keep moving, and he wanted good communication, and he liked what he had when he was here. And so being gone just over a year had given him the time to recalibrate, like, what is it that I want as a driver? And we often see that, and I often talk about that all the time. Friends, let's try to work this out, because there's no reason for someone to leave or chase that shiny object or I got an opportunity, right? How many times has someone said that? I got an opportunity. I got an opportunity. Usually for that opportunity, it could have been clickbait, right? It could have lured you in just by social media. But nonetheless, if you start going down that rabbit hole, all of a sudden you got a new opportunity, right? And then people leave. And that's where this one just really landed. I mean, a great conversation. Driver talked to me about all of the right reasons. And honestly, there were spots that we could have done better too, right? We weren't perfect, and he didn't claim that, but it was awesome. And it allowed me to understand that one of the many things that I lean on a lot is momentum, right? You need to create some momentum, and that matters in trucking. And building confidence with drivers to let them know that you will be moving is important. And customers build relationships when freight arrives on time. So we, as a company, become stronger when you, as a driver, keep moving. And that's important. And that's what this driver experienced. He knew that we would take care of him and that it was our mission to keep him planned and keep him moving. And he appreciated something that he took for granted. And so there's a lesson here beyond trucking. And sometimes people leave, right? Sometimes they explore another opportunity. Sometimes they need something different. And occasionally that experience teaches them what they truly value. And for this driver, it wasn't all about the equipment. It wasn't a recruiting promise or a sign-on bonus. It was something simple, being able to do his job. That's all he was asking for, right? Keep me moving, keep me headed down the road, and that's it. Keep it simple, right? You guys are good people. You want us to be successful. I know that, and I can tell that, and that's what I missed where he went to work. And so this conversation, you really challenged me as a leader, because sometimes we get so focused on fixing problems that we forget to appreciate what's working. And so I want to give a shout out to the planners, to the driver specialists, to the customer service team, to our shop, our maintenance staff, our fleet department, all the people behind the scenes creating opportunities for drivers to stay productive. That's not an accident, you guys. That's hard work. And hearing a driver recognize that was a reminder that all those efforts matter. And so if you are a driver that maybe is at your company considering like, hey, this place doesn't have what I just talked about, right? Pre-planning, they don't focus on the hours before empty. Like our mission internally is to find the sweet spot, which often appears to be about 36 hours. 36 hours out is when we start to really lock in your plan, not because we don't have the freight or abundance of freight. It's the right time to put the right plan together. If you get too far out, other opportunities might come in that could benefit the driver better. And so we try to stay as close to that 36 hours as we can for a pre-plan. Works really well on the back end. It allows us to start plugging everything in. And then when the driver gets, ready to be reloaded, he's already got the plan. He knows what he's doing. His driver specialist has talked to him about it, and it's a win-win. And so that really landed on me this week. And as I speak with so many drivers, it's often the simple things. Drivers are, there's probably sign-on bonus drivers chasers out there, right? Going after the next sign-on bonus because it's a quick hit, or, a lot of sign-on bonuses are played out over 6 months, 9 months, who knows. But when it comes to what the drivers that want to be successful in this industry are, it's often about keeping me moving, clear communication, and keep my equipment running and running well. It's very simple. The basics of trucking, the blocking and tackling, the ABCs. And so end of the day, trucking isn't just about trucks. It's about the people. And it's about the people that are planning the loads, and the people that are solving problems, and the people that are driving the trucks, and the people that are helping drivers succeed. And sometimes it takes leaving that to realize what decision you made, you left something special in the first place. And so we're very excited to have this driver back, not just because we gained a driver, but because his story reminded me of something important, and that the little things you as drivers value most often aren't little at all. They're the little things that allow them to keep moving. And so in trucking, again, movement or momentum matters. And so thank you for listening to Keep Trucking Personal. And until next time, stay safe.
Appreciate you tuning in. If you got value out of this, subscribe and send it to someone who takes pride in the job. We're not just moving freight, we're shaping the culture. Catch you on the next one.